Hi, everybody.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Sorry we had to start a little bit late, but things happen.
Yeah, so we're talking about the seasons and easing into them and how time flies and everything, and that's kind of what happened today. So
Yeah, and
we are.
change and how we let it affect our lives and
Right.
how we look at it. And as we all know, everything that's in front of us is the way it is because of the way we look at things. And sometimes we're pressured into looking things a certain way because that's all we know.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of us have taken the steps to be able to really have our own perceptions. And I really believe that when you start to have your own perception, it takes a lot of stress out of change in our lives. And once we start to realize that everything is a cycle, everything is a cycle. There's no beginning and no ending to anything. Day goes into night. You know, the ocean goes out to the sea and comes back. I mean, everything revolves, and that's the dynamic of the world. And when we realize that we are part of that change, not one that we actually are consciously thinking of, we start to realize that it's easier to go with the flow, and instead of looking at change as a bad thing, we look at it as a really good thing.
Hi, Karen.
Hi, Car. And lots of times, people have a lot of problem dealing with change because we're so stuck where we are. And even though we may not be happy where we are, change is scary. Unknown is scary. But we say to you, the unknown shouldn't be scary, it should be exciting. And especially if you're not in something or where you want to be. Hi, La. Hope you're feeling better today. So, what are some of the things that really stump us? Like the seasonal changes.
Mm-hmm.
We go from summer where we're really free and outdoors. We have all of that energy from nature, really feeding us and things. And then we go into fall and we're already premeditating the holidays, the stress from the holidays, whatever we celebrate, getting the kids costumes for Halloween. And then we have Thanksgiving, where we're going to have dinner. Here's the thing. How about change? How about all of you out there that may be premeditating already the holidays and who you have to spend them with? Mm-hmm. A lot of us are really, really happy to be able to spend it with our families, and then a lot of us really aren't. So those of you that aren't, what if you implemented some change in the holidays, and instead of having to spend it as a tradition, how about beginning a new tradition? Mm-hmm. Or breaking tradition? Sometimes somebody has to make that change, and inevitably that'll change that dramatic, dreadful approach, that the holidays are coming.
Yeah.
It's a whole new way of looking at things. Mm-hmm. And excuse me, there are changes in the seasons that are also affecting the physical body. Like the fall is like kidney time. And each of the seasons has a different, element in the body, element in the earth, as the seasons change. So the more we're able to look at implementing change with a positive, what can we do now? What can we do to change things instead of worrying about it? That's a really good place to start.
Yeah, I always like to look at each change of season as a fresh start.
Yes.
And somebody, even said to me, what was it, yesterday? Today's Wednesday. On Monday, like, how she hated Mondays. I was like, I love Mondays. I love the change. I love knowing that I have a fresh start every day, and then it's a change of season. It's even more exciting. And the other thing that's been kind of funny has been the weather. How, like, every day you get up, like, should I wear summer, it feels like, look at us.
Should I lay
We're
in the
like
sun?
different people. She's in sleeveless. I walked in with a leather jacket on and this, so and I feel like it's that
so
way
beautiful.
too. It's the transitioning, like your body, and I don't know. For my body, I feel like chilly already.
And if you feel like you're having a much more difficult time right now with change, because there is a huge shift that's happening where energy is really, really, I'm going to say at an all-time high, and all of the outer experiences that we are watching go on, not only in the earth with hurricanes, but all of the trauma that's happening with people's moods and things. And yeah, it's getting darker earlier, and it does affect, thank you, Karen, for mentioning that.
Yeah, definitely.
It really does affect people, because it's the light out and the sun that affects our vitamin D and our serotonin levels. And when it gets dark, when it gets dark earlier, we're not realizing it. And I hate to kind of say this, but I'm really seeing with my mom with dementia, how the sundowners, and it's almost like we all get a little piece of that when it gets dark earlier. And depression, sadness. Hey, Jason, I'm glad you joined us. All of these things really affect us. It's a really good, one of the really good things to help with this is breath work, breath exercises, and really taking deep breaths and knowing that the deeper the breath, the deeper the healing goes into the body. Meditation is huge. Yoga, huge. Anything that centers you. Going in the bathroom for 5 minutes at work, covering and cupping your eyes like this, because by holding yourself here underneath the jaw and right above the eye, where your eyebrows are, the eye line, those 2 points really help to allow energy to descend down the front of the body, and it clears conscious chaos. So I remember in grade school, or even just in school, just resting your eyes for a minute. If you do this, you can actually feel your eyes relax. And it helps with the whole change of stress in the body, because let's face it, change causes stress. But we can look at it in a different way and not allow it to cause that much stress.
Yeah, I like to actually take, now that it is getting dark, take some time to do more inside work too, inside yourself, and be aware of when those moments are happening, that you're the person who loves you the most. So reflect.
You're supposed to be the person that loves you the most.
Well,
big lesson there.
When you're having those reactions, it's time to be aware of them. And so if you're feeling darker, in a darker place, now you know why. Now, if you're actually feeling it, that's great. That you're seeing inside yourself, to be able to recognize that, and then to be able to do the exercises, talk to Phyllis. I actually had a couple of my own dark moments this week, and I was like, oh, I got chiropractic work. Like, I went through a series of things that I knew I needed in the time.
Right.
And that's what's going to be really good to be aware of. And the other thing I've really noticed myself, and I don't know if you have too, but for years and years and years, I felt stuck for a really long time. And now, and when I look back, it seemed like the same thing was happening over and over again. And now time feels so much faster, and when we get into October, people start thinking about the holidays. Like you said, it's like, shoo, all of a sudden it's January 1st. And, to really take the time now, with having the time to get introspective and take the time when it is darker, and slow down. Take a minute to slow down.
So, all right, so we're talking about change on a whole.
Yes.
And not being afraid of it, not stressing because of it. Not stressing over it. And I think that if we start to look at all the things that stress us because of change, maybe it's time to implement change and simplify what we're premeditating. Everybody's already thinking about Thanksgiving dinner. How many people? Who's going to be here? We don't talk to that one. We don't talk to I don't want to talk, whatever. Simplify things then. Change the way you're going to do Thanksgiving dinner. Oh, people are going to get mad? Oh, well, they get mad, they get glad. And here's the thing. Are you in a place in your life where you're ready to implement change that's going to bring you joy and you happiness? Because clearly nobody else around you is thinking of that. Simplify your life. Implement that change and implement it consciously. And when you do things from that level, it's almost like it's not that you don't care about others. It just means that you care about you, maybe your kids, your husband.
Doing at this
point.
Yeah.
Dealing with, immediate reaction. And I think that the more we project, okay, we spend so much time thinking about what's going to be. You know what? Change the way you're doing these things and don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to speak your feelings if the holidays haven't been going the way you'd really like them to do. You know what? If you suffer through another family gathering, guess who it's on? You. It's time to really respect your feelings, say the things you need to say, and implement the changes that you need to change. Change is growth. Change brings you to another level of consciousness, healing, feeling, energy, everything. If a seed didn't change and become a flower or a tree or a fruit or a vegetable, we'd have no food. I mean, think about it. Change is a very, very necessary life dynamic. And just like seeds, we change. We were once a seed. And we grew. And over the years, we grew and we evolved and we learned. And it would have never happened if we didn't change. So why do we allow it to affect us and scare us so much now?
I had a really interesting moment at a family event and things that I kind of wanted to end, pick myself my fork. The conversation, I was like,
I think we all carry around that fork with us just in case.
It was funny. I was thinking to myself, first I started to get aggravated and I was going to interject, and then I thought, nope, gone in my happy place. So I just started kind of thinking of something else and just enjoyed my meal, and I was the most quiet that I probably have ever been. But I was in my own place and I was in my own happy space, so I didn't have to engage in that chatter, and instead it kind of went away.
I can relate to that.
Yeah.
I like staying in my happy place.
Right? That's what I did, and it was that was a change
right
for me, because I was sitting there okay, I'm not going to engage that, and I just kind of set up my own little perimeter and ate my meal, and I was it ended a lot faster than I actually expected.
How about if you woke up in the morning one morning and just said, I'm really looking forward to all the changes and all the positive things that can happen in my life every day? Does it sound too hard to do? Are you so into a vortex of negativity because things in your job, things in your family, things in your personal life, guess what? If you want that change and you want to have that more positive outlook where you look forward to change, you look forward to growth, you look forward to learning, then it's time for you today to be really understanding being in the moment, mindfulness. There's so much about mindfulness, but mindfulness, using tools that we have like crystals and oils and positive talk, when you're in the workspace, using these things to raise your vibration and really becoming one with the earth, the seasonal changes. I started to say how summer really makes you feel this freedom is coming.
Yeah.
Then we go into the fall and the winter and we're thinking about holidays and stress and, Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate, the gifts. Now I have to go out and spend all this money on gifts. Why do we have to think all the time that that's what it is? We've talked about this in other seasons, like the Easter Bunny. It doesn't mean jelly beans and baskets and running out and having to put all this stuff together. I'm not really religious. I don't know really all the rules and laws of all the religions, but what if we even simplified that and we didn't feel like we had to go to such extremes, like everybody goes into credit card debt at this time, and then we're coming out of it in January thinking what if we just implemented change where just the fact that we're together and a little tiny thoughtful something, start thinking about these changes now and think about what all the options are and discuss it with everybody who's involved, whether it's something in the office or an office party or whatever. And then we go through these holidays, talk to family, whatever the thing is. Start to think in your own mind today, what changes can we make? Start making your own changes, and then you won't be caught off guard when something changes. Because you've already implemented things, you'll be better equipped to deal with changes when they come along, and you won't fall apart. And it won't be another, brick in your bag of things that you're carrying around. Yeah. Feel more one with the earth and the cycles of life, and be on board to move through the seasons with more ease, being one with it.
It's funny, like speaking of breaking the traditions and making those changes and talking about it. We did that a few years ago. We did the same thing for New Year's every single year. And we just kind of outgrew it, and we all changed. Everybody went kind of like a different direction, and it was fine. And I think it was actually better for everybody's circumstances. The kids all grow up, and it was okay, and we try to be so traditional and try to stick with our traditions, but when it's bringing in all that angst or nervousness or whatever, it's great it was so refreshing to make the change. I'm looking to make more changes in some of the holiday seasons, because my kids are getting older too, so it's just different, and so everything is going to get different. I think that was kind of even the beginning of us talking, is like things are going to change, and I think traditions try to make things stay the same. They're not going to. The dynamics change, the kids grow up, everybody.
Like, here's a big stressor for the holidays. Your kids are in relationships, or your kids are married, or whatever. It's Christmas, or it's Hanukkah. You have to be here for well, what if you have two different families? What makes sense in putting pressure on anybody that they have to be somewhere for that exact day or else? And look at all of the dilemmas or the destruction it has caused. Like, I really, all of my kids, my kids are in relationships, married, whatever. And I think I'm really easy about, the holidays. I just think that, you have to be somewhere, If you can't make it tonight, you make it tomorrow. Just want to be together as a family. As long as that's the real thing, is that you just want to be together as a family, then that should be the main thing. Mm-hmm. Not that somebody has to run around like crazy, and especially after you have children. I mean, I had 4 kids. I didn't want to have to worry about packing them up, take them here, pick them up, take them there. Think really about the pressure that we're putting on other people, because we don't want to change what we've done for the last 100 years. I mean, Yeah. So, start really thinking about how wonderful change can be and what a positive thing it can be, instead of being afraid of it.
Yeah.
And really start to feel the seasonal changes, free up your mind, go that little extra if you have to be really accepting of whatever change is happening in your life or those close to you, and just don't be afraid of it. Hi, Anne-Marie. And remember that it's inevitable, and it's part of the growing pains. Mm-hmm. And really wake up in the morning and ask that all the changes that take place in your life be positive ones, and be a part of the change. Don't let it catch you off guard, and let fear pop in. And I've said before, with fear, instead of being fearful of things that are coming that you don't know, just start asking what wonderful miracles are going to happen in my life now, and We know that everything that happens, remember this, it's the hugest lesson and there's no variation of it. Whatever's going to be is going to be, and everything happens for a reason. And you know what? I'm starting to really look forward to the reasons, because it really gets me past the why of things.
Yeah. I feel like everybody, it's been kind of a joke when you see all the things being pumpkin spice at this time of year. But to me, it's like the aromas of the fall, the cinnamon, the nutmeg, the, that part, I do feel like we embrace it. And I feel like that's why people love the pumpkin spice thing, even though it's like gotten to be a joke. But I just got a pumpkin spice coffee the other day, and I was like, oh, I just love, it feels like the warmth and the change of the leaves.
Absolutely,
and
you can feel the fire burning in the fireplace.
Exactly.
You can see the pumpkin pie on the kitchen table.
Right, and those are the things, if we can focus on that and how that feels inside, and that's what to look for as you're embracing the change that is fall.
And can I say something that's really important about this? Make sure through all of these changes that you're implementing in the way you saw things before and the way your perception has started to transition now that you've been, we've been trying to, we have been helping you along with ways to change your perception about things. Surrounding yourself with people who are like-minded and they help you with these changes that are happening because they're on the same page.
Yeah.
It's huge. Surrounding yourself with like-minded people through all the shifts and changes that we are going through.
Yeah. I was just at an event last night, and with all the chaos that's going on in other places in the world that's horrific, I said, at least what we're doing is being the change and the positive and the love that we want to see in the world. If we can change our little corner of the world, which is what many of us do anyway, but it's like to even recognize that change and recognize that you're part of it. And so we can't change the big picture, but we can change here, which is going to change for the good of all of us around us, right?
With all the energy shift that's happening now because of like the planets and the alignments and things like that, think about like we're ready for fall and all of a sudden it's 80 degrees in summer. Don't think that this change in weather isn't also throwing our psyche for a little loop. So we've got that going on with us too. We have to be able to adjust to this, 60, 80, 40, 90.
Yep.
So that's having an effect on our bodies and our minds also.
Yeah.
So the more you realize that things are what they are, go with the flow, take a deep breath, and when we're done today, really take that minute to take a nice deep breath and focus on your breathing. Start fresh, reset yourself today. And if you have to do it every day, then reset yourself every day. And for all the things that are going on in the world today that are affecting all of us, because a lot of the things that took place, God forbid, in Las Vegas over the weekend, just no words can describe what we've all felt. And there are people from here, Pennsylvania, all over the country that were affected by that in that one spot. I really want to take a moment to send love and blessings and healing and whatever comfort, for what it's worth, to all of the people all over in every country, because it has affected all of us. And if as one person we begin to change how we're seeing and feeling things, and really for a moment take time to really feel love today and really send that out to every person and healing, we're going to implement some change and some much very needed change. So I hope you all take the time to do that today.
Yeah.
And know that we love you, and this is why we bring you these live segments every week. So have a wonderful rest of your day.
Yes.
And please send in questions and comments, and if you have ideas for a subject that you'd like to hear, we're open. Come on, we're open, and we want to hear what you have to say. And we love you for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you.